This is an attempt to combine industry with outdoor art. And we'll take some pictures of some of the outdoor art exhibits as we go along here. Tefin, the industrial city up near the Lebanon border. What's a Tamarkin?
Israeli artist.
Oh, an Israeli artist, Tamarkin.
That's what it is.
This is the entrance to one of the Tefin factories. This factory is way out in the middle of nowhere.
It's like a crab. John, we're gonna have to do yeah, that would be a good one.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely beautiful.
I think so.
You are so lucky. This is how far out in the nowhere it is.
Tour bus.
They left empty too. Okay, Bruce?
Maybe Freudian, but this looks like a bunch of women's breasts to me. I think it'd be nice to work in a place that has some care about preserving beauty while producing something significant. Even the signs directing you to the property are very attractive. This is a little town of Mahalo. It's up near the Lebanon border. The place where the school bus was commandeered by some Jordanians or Lebanese, and all the kids killed. It happened not too distant ago, 10 years. This is a place called the Dubrovnik Farm, the kibbutz. One of their first 1900s, early. Said they paid quite a price for their pioneering spirit. Malaria was rampant, and many of the family died. Kibbutz dining room. I guess the old man lived to 103. And this is the restaurant where people from outside can come in and they serve lunch. 170-acre farm. And this is the restaurant where we had lunch on the 10th of July.
בתוך הנעליים בבית, הנה. המים בתוך הנעליים
איפה באו? זה שאת קורא כל כך. זה תמיד בינתיים, עד שתבינו. מיקי שאוהב לבוא לפה לארץ, וכמו כל מקום מאוד קטן, אז מרוב שאנשים לא נעים להם, מה מוצא בנו, אז התחילו ללעוג לזה שהוא בא לכאן. זה כמו וודי אלן שאומר שהוא מוכן להיות חבר בכל מועדון שלא יקבל אותו. המצב התנועה נראה די רגוע חוץ מבכביש תל אביב. לא, כן, לא. התכוונתי למשהו שקשור ל... אמרת על המיניסקוס שלי? המיניסקוס שלך גם אמרתי. אהבתי דרך אגב את הסיפור על ההוא. גם קומפקטקוס קולפוט, חזק משהו, קומפוט. כן, זה היה נהדר. ובאמת חשבתי שבאמת לאוטו שלהם לא צריך לקרוא סוסיטה אלא קוסיטה. טוב, בטלפון 566-669.
Oh well. Pump that handle and then put it in there. Tough way to go. Holding tank. That's into Lebanon. That's as far as we go. That's Lebanon. It's a welcome sign. John with some popsicles. If you notice the plantings right along the road here, the Israelis plant right up to the border. All the way along it. These are lime trees. Right at the border. Right there. Ever present Israelis with their guns. The Golan Heights. They've posted these signs all along Danger Minefield. And you go through there and you don't value your parts. Top of these hills there are Syrian bunkers, and they have their guns aimed at the kibbutzes along the Israeli Golan. This is the Banyas cave. The water comes. This is the source of the Jordan River, where it starts. These are some Crusader ruins quite close to it. In the Golan Heights. The Banyas. Banyas.
You're not gonna get out too?
Probably Roman. Those are windmills. Reliable winds on the top of this Golan Height hill. This is an abandoned town. That is Syria over there, just beyond the hill. You see Damascus. They abandoned this town. They repopulated it with 18-year-old men, or Syrian soldiers, and this is in Israel territory.
No, because no, it's just I was standing right here looking over there.
Such is the peace. It says UN on the truck. This is the citadel outside of Amman.
Okay, the bus now is going to stop in this place, and after this we will go down.
Funded by U.S. aid. Restoration. It was 300 dinar, it's 450 American. He should have been sick at his decision.
Should come from us because our government's so willing to give it. The people, I think.
Of course, you realize I have you all on tape.
What?
I have you on tape.
Oh.
Now, during the Greek period also, perhaps most of you know that after the death of Great Alexander, his kingdom was divided into two kingdoms. We have what's called the Seleucids and Batlamans in Syria, Egypt, and Jordan. Now, it happened many battles between them, and the Seleucids wanted to defeat the Batlamans from all the places. So what happened in the area of the citadel or this mountain is that they said the Seleucids could not defeat or enter to the citadel unless they caught one of the soldiers of the Batlamans, and he told them about the secret source of water for this place. There is a pool behind that building. It is a secret pool, and they said from that pool there is a tunnel which goes around Amman.
That's how it's done, shovelful by shovelful.
Not far from Acadia.
These ancient major trading routes are now protected by international architectural committees. I guess UNESCO is part of this, wherever we go. At least two.
Also, the decoration of this entrance, as you see,
There was a suitcase. Suitcase left out by our bus stop here, and they were.
You have to move your things away.
Okay. There's the bomb squad. coming to get this unmarked, unclaimed luggage at the bus stop. Again, I'm moving. Someone's checking into a hotel over there that somebody else doesn't like.
Well, wait, so how come
that right?
Because it's wrong to have a Jewish state before the Messiah.
They here before,
These guys were here like hundreds of years.
that's what I was thinking.
But not, see, the black hat fashion didn't come into play until the Polish ghettos.
They're
So 17th,
recreating.
18th century.
They're recreating the ghetto.
And they don't think you should modernize, so most of these people won't have TVs.
And the blue paint that you sometimes see on the wall, I think is to ward off the evil eye, right, Sean?
I think so, yeah. Sort of Middle East demon. Get some squeaky brakes.
the demon with squeaky brakes?
No, we have squeaky.
What?
What can a horn do to a car? Alright, this is it.
Measuring, huh?
This was built, that's the Russian one. This was probably built right around the turn of the century then. A group of religious Jews moved out of the old city around 1880 and built the Russian compound. What was it, Maya Street?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, Maya Street. It's at like 100 gates or something like that.
Yeah.
And the reason it's at 100 gates is because literally there was about a...
We're on our way to Masada.
What's that?
And this is Masada by the Dead Sea.
Right here, that's right.
Just about a half an hour away from Qumran,
Oh,
the Dead Sea Scroll Caves,
you'll see some stuff. It's not a tell though,
and an Essene community.
but you'll see the old Roman siege wall.
You can see the
There's a wall encircling the entire
path right there. And I do believe they think we're going to walk that.
What was that?
It says you can see the pathway there. I do believe they think we're going to walk.
No, you guys are.
Dead Sea right there. 1,200 feet below sea level. Hot.
Vamos, doña Esperancita. Vamos, ánimo.
You can see on the aerial photo where this is located. The aerial photo shows this separation. That's the path. These are little people. I took that Merciful cable car and bought a round trip ticket. Must be 90. And that's at Telephoto Max. So you can see what a long hard corner is. Hardy souls. Hardy souls.
He's our leader.
Yeah.
Our leader.
These two young ones showed me the way.
All right, Mom.
Here, huh?
Isreal, yeah, oui. But it's too heavy, I think. It's too heavy.
No, I bought the cassette of the thing.
Yes,
the gold.
what they say.
What's his name? The guy that sold it to me.
Rafi.
Rafi? Rafi sold it to me. He's a good guy.
He's a very good one. They told us that we have to give him 150,000 francs.
Or 50 for the driver and 100 for him.
For each person.
Okay.
You know, like we did yesterday, he gets percentage of it.
Yes, we know. We know that.
No. Think I'm about extend my strength and up those stairs.
Okay, why don't we come over here? We'll sit here, and I'll point some things out for you to look at, and then you go sit there, okay?
Right? Pick me up.
My wife, she will think that I have some folks in my mind, so I can't
Other
do
ladies,
it.
huh? Okay, I'm fine now. I thank you.
It's good. You have good fresh air here.
Piles of rocks up here for the catapults, but those also might be a building that will be reconstructed. Yeah, I know they have stacks of the balls that they catapult up. But those are round, so they can roll them around easily. Otherwise, you'd have to lift this heavy thing from place to catapult.
That's Palace.
In fact, right up there, I think, might be the remains of a Byzantine church. See that sort of arch? Byzantine church is pretty neat. It's got some pottery type thing embedded in the wall where it was built in that area. He built for himself. And it was fortified. I think it was bigger than that. It was like a big common room where there would be a lot of guards. And if I remember the numbers right, he'd always keep like a couple hundred men up here to protect it. And then he would use it as a hideaway if things got really bad in Jerusalem. So he needed to have a small staff here, but not a big one. And that's how the Jews managed to sneak in, because there weren't that many people. So that would be, I think, protect this end of the fortress. And over here would be where people live. And I think the Byzantines lived in this area here. These would be like Byzantine priests who would come up here and live a life of asceticism. They would eat rocks and drink dust, or vice versa. I forget what shape it worked. There's the outer wall, you can see here, and then within the fort, there's another fort, which would be Herod's fort, and that whole thing would be an inner wall. And I guess this square thing would be a corner of its fort.
Where we are right here. You are here. This is the Byzantine church.
You're glad? You weren't glad when I told you that. They pull it out and then they restart it.
Oh, since this restored?
It's amazing I could find this out of all that rubble.
If it weren't original, John, they would have filled it in, don't you think?
John thinks that might be for holy water.
They were short back then. They didn't get enough people to flip those things from Jerusalem. Before they So what he did is he made it fake it out. So he put this sort of plaster on him and had him shape it so it looked like these big rock pieces. This whole place looked like this. It looked like a giant castle.
Mine is where it was above the surface when they first started.
No,
I guess they collected their water in these cisterns, and there's an underground hollow top. They saved the water, and this space out in here was gardens where they grew most of the crops.
What they did is they
According to John, Herod was paranoid. He's always worried about his own troops even getting them, so he would have these little hideaways, and he had 200 of his soldiers up here, just keeping the place in case things got hot. That's how the Jewish community came up and took it over, because there were so few of them up here at the time. That's why the Romans wanted it back. John also says that Herod was part Jewish and kind of ingratiated himself with the Romans and to get his position. Talked him into being feasible to take over this area of the country, and invited them in on behalf of the Romans in spite of his own heritage. Plaster that was made to look like big stones to make it look like the big stones down below where the palace was built in his way. And that's what was showing. I did go.
what was the story of this?
There's the one.
So what do we see here? Again. Here, when I am, is the way down to the
Sounds like it's wrong, but it's not. The king there, Joe himself, even the swimming pool, that you will be able to take a look at over there.
Painstaking, small pieces of
And here we have a beautiful sign.
Your mom was telling us they were in Italy.
Next to which,
Photograph.
remember yesterday we saw that,
That'd be a cistern down there.
Is that a bathtub over there?
Jane said they had 10 million gallons of water on tap up here. Big floods, big rains, and they saved it.
For us to understand the events here, to understand that there is no problem of water. A heavy swimmer, not as good swimmer, the one that just dip their feet in the water, and this is part of what is being built here. It's another way of Herod's way of impressive way of impressing people and showing off, which we find here.
the king here didn't have too much of a trouble.
Yeah, okay. Whoa, what a big
There's tiling floor.
David and Carl. Yeah, Carl. I mean, there's parallels. There's a lot of things that
I don't mean then Carl. I mean.
put it to the floor. It's the floor. It would go up here and hit the ceiling and condense on the ceiling and hit points or something for if it was flat, the water would drip down. Here it drips along the side of the wall and it doesn't splatter on your face.
Oh, how neat.
So when we were in Jordan, we stayed at a place with a bath reconstructed like this, only they didn't know that trick about the ceiling. It had a flat ceiling, and so we'd be getting hit on the face all the time with these drops of water.
Oh, yeah.
It's really irritating. As irritating as it can get in a hot bath where you're totally relaxed. Well, it's the wall that sort of, it's around the entire perimeter of Masada.
Now that was a Roman camp, John says.
And this
can see
stage
they're
over
doing
here is
some
left over
archaeology.
from the filming of the movie.
That stage was left over from filming of Masada with Peter Strauss, which was wonderful.
How many stars?
You can sort of see steps coming up from one of the cisterns.
It's pretty steep here. You just need to get the right perspective.
Yeah, those are the cisterns, John says. They collected the water and then you had to bring it up. Yeah, this is the beginning of the ramp where the Romans could bring up their chariots and their battering rams, which took them 2 years to build.
You can hike up it now.
John says you can hike up it now. There's the Roman camps over here while they're waiting to build it. I don't know if they'll be able to come out to see that in the glass. The lower terrace of the palace. Hell of a climb.
Oh. I mumbled it. I didn't say it. Jane, Second Temple Times?
And the edges.
With the pillars. And I don't know who said the pillars in there.
Now, Jane said that they know it's a synagogue because they found a room with some scrolls in it.
It's back where John is.
Back where John is.
Found fragments of scrolls and 5,000
Scroll room. These sweet children have been here before. They're just up here showing me, you know. They say that this pile of rounded stones were catapulted up by the Romans and then rolled back down by the Jews during the siege. This is a spa in the Dead Sea. One of the few places where you can just pick off and go in. But here's a long path. Leads down the Dead Sea. They say it's about 30% mineral. Come out of there feeling really greasy, slimy. You certainly don't want to get in your mouth. Call it the Dead Sea because it nothing living in it, and all the drainage, it sets 1,200 feet below sea level, so it just drains everything from area and it evaporates and the minerals remain, so it's very like thick. Mud bath. Gotta make sure she gets all healed. He's on our tour.
Oh, he's on your tour.
מה זה? Carol, if you put this, maybe I'll put this. Just drop it.
I want to drop it.
Do it! Carol, do it!
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
Alright, leave it tight.
Hold on.
Carol, I think I better leave these.
I'm
The first time here.
Yeah.
Who's the lady behind you? She must also sit.
I've got it now. I've got it. Mama. I've got it.
Sit in the water.
There's John. Believe it or not, that's James. Out of that. I got it. They're wild.
They are amazing climbers.
Whoa, look at them. Huh.
But they need what do they use?
They have them down south.
That's still around here.
This is Qumran, where the Dead Sea Scrolls were found near the Essene community where supposedly Jesus was trained.
Preserve this place.
Dave, what do you know about the Dead Sea Scrolls?
These long rooms are scriptoria, which is where they were written. Why was it, John, that they thought they were written in these long, skinny rooms?
The Essene sect, I forget when they started, but they sort of straddled the turn of the century on into the 100, 150 AC. Here it says this place had a population as early as 8th century BC. And
These scenes
the last
arrived.
known inhabitants were through the Bar Kokhba revolt of 132 to 135. 4th BC to 6th CE or AD. And after that, the Essenes returned Qumran and rebuilt it. In 68, during the Jewish revolt, the Romans conquered Qumran and dispersed the sect. That's when they went out. Before that, they wouldn't bury the scrolls because they knew the Romans were coming, so they pushed the scrolls.
Oh, that's when hell's up in those
The Maccabees and the Hashmoneans celebrated Hanukkah.
It's not that means it was falling and so So tell me something then.
Conversion, right?
Over 1,000 years earlier than the previous earliest numbers was the Aleppo Codex, which was in Syria.
So
Of
when they say the Old
which,
Testament,
just in the last few days, apparently the remaining pages arrived from Syria.
so when they say Old Testament, saying the Old Testament was written.
The ways, and if you think about the Old Testament, whenever they rewrote the Torah, we'll call it the Torah, it wouldn't have been more than 3 copies old, according to Shmuel, our guide, which would mean it goes back almost to the source.
Wow, the Torah.
It's called the Torah, right? That's the Old Testament.
The Tanakh.
The Tanakh.
Well, that's Hebrew. So then if you look up there, you can see caves.
We'll see when we walk down here, though. They did.
Reproduce.
I don't know that the.
Ritual baths too? Open?
What's that?
Do the men
Water
do
channel?
ritual
The men would do ritual baths too. I think before whatever Shabbat they'd have a bath, and then maybe before.
Once a week.
You know.
Whether it needed it or not, like my grandfather used to say.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, this would be the.
Those people who bury the scrolls over here with the good intention of coming back, unbury them and reuse them, never return back to this place because they most probably perished at Masada together with all the rest.
Sure, running down.
And therefore those scrolls have been kept over here for like 1,900 years until discovered in almost a miraculous way. You have to remember
well, the last.
this long, narrow street.
It wasn't a major time.
And this is only because the climatic conditions of this area. The climatic conditions are conditions of preservation. If those scrolls would have been hidden somewhere on the coast with this very high percentage of humidity and moist, you wouldn't have found anything of those today. But because they were buried in shady and cool caves, in an area with the highest amount of oxygen in the world, because don't forget this body of water you are looking at right now is 400 meters below sea level, 392 meters exactly below sea level. These are perfect conditions for preservation. And therefore, they were found over here because they preserved in this sort of climatic conditions. They wouldn't have been found anywhere else. But then yet even the letters of Bar Kokhba, which dates to 132 to 135 AD, were found in quite a good condition. So, this is where the first discovery was made, cave number 4. All the rest were later on excavated and discovered in the area, although There might be some more scrolls in the area. You never know. Only a year ago, not far from the monastery which we saw at Mount of Temptation, we discovered a few pieces of parchment which were hidden over there and probably belong to the collection of scrolls which have been found over here. Back to the famous scroll called the War of the Sons of Light Against the Sons of Darkness. It was also found over here. In other words, this whole area has been the area of settlements of the Assyrians. Also, Qumran would have been the acropolis of the sect. This would have been in a way the capital of the sect, where they would have come up for the most important necessities.
This is the women's side, and that's the men's side. At the Wailing Wall. At the west wall of Solomon's Temple. Saturday night. And we went to call Shabbat gathering. And the young men come in here and sing. The old city, the walled city of Jerusalem. We're going to come back here tomorrow and do more depth. Tonight we got Shabbat. A lot of restoration going on. The holy city for Muslims and Christians and Jews. A great deal of history goes right through here.
Alright, wait. Set up. Why? Celebration.
This is early Saturday morning. We're in the entrance to the Christian quarters of the Holy City. These are Christian Arabs. No women. Very seldom you see women in the street. Christian interns looking from the other direction. You see all these men sitting around, men walking around.
No intention of giving it. Somebody put it all down. Yeah, it's just the face of the neighbors on the right.
The street leading up to the Holy Sepulchre Church. Site the crucifixion, and part of it the way of the cross, another part the burial, and another part.
Absolutely, very good. Abraham is actually almost offering his son, right? No, Isaac. That's Isaac. Now, okay.
So this is inside the church, and this is the spot where they were supposed to have nailed Jesus to the cross. At this spot.
The king of the Jews. So above your head, you see it's written there in Greek, in Latin, and in Aramaic, which is Hebrew. That's the initials only. And you see it over there? That's the 12th station, which is, as you see, over a natural rock. In other words, the whole church is built like a
on this
rock. That church stood over a certain rock, which according to Christianity, at least the Orthodox pictures, please, and we are going to go the other way down the stairs right
Signifying being on a hill.
I want you to be careful of the steps here. Very slow.
now. Look at that mosaic. It's a new one, but there was an old one here, the identical one. This mosaic, why? Because we see something very interesting. What we see? Above a rock, which is under it, we see a skull. Now you understand why it's called what? A skull of moon. Everybody is it? I don't see what it is.
Right.
That's
right there.
You hear a skull of moon, that's important. They will bury him as the custom of the Jews. What is the difference? The Jewish people is already made. When we will wash the body, we are not body, and they will put the body on the hill. And here they will prepare it.
area where you see some mountains. We believe that after Joseph and Maria begged for the body of Jesus,
para ganar la indulgencia de la iglesia, purifiquemos nuestros corazones pensando en Dios pecador. Dios pecador, hermanos, que he pecado mucho de pensamiento, palabra, obra.
Come out, come in quickly. Come in, please.
This is the tomb. They're supposed to put Jesus, and they built the church around it. And we were just in there. difficult to see, but these are the tubes in the wall. You may not be able to make those out, but those are holes in the rock. Two of them. Approximately this site. In front of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Never pass health department rules. Flies. Perfect. Now this is the way of the cross, uphill to Calvary. This is the station where Veronica wiped the face of Jesus. The sixth station of the cross. Probably what remained in one of the original churches erected on this site. Steep and it's hot. The seventh station. And this is where Jesus fell the second time. Probably about a mile from start to finish, where he picked up the cross and was nailed to it.
Buy something. If you don't have something for 25, then I don't know what to do.
Okay, actually what we will make it 30 and we will find you something for $30. Okay, to let you have something from my shop.
Let's see what you got.
To let you have something from
I
my
have
shop.
something from your shop. My
Before?
wife bought a necklace for me.
Yeah.
Okay, what's this? Is a bead.
That's hair time.
Hair time.
Hair time, a bead.
Okay, so...
Stone.
Yeah, of course. How much is that? 25?
You will have it. I don't want.
You know, for 25.
Yes.
I think I could find something like this.
This is a dagger. Yeah, no.
It's what?
This is a dagger. It's the dagger.
What's this dagger?
They used to put the dagger from the time of Abraham on the wood, the top, so like you had.
Yeah, that's more interesting. How much is that?
This goes to 35.
This is where Simon helped him lift, helped him carry. This is station 4.
Jesus faced his mother.
Jesus faced his mother. the way of the cross. This is station 3. Where Jesus fell for the first time. It's about 15 steps from where he meets his mother. The modern way of the cross. That tire. Kid pushes that thing down the street, lifts himself with his arms. When he wants to stop, he jumps on the tire. This is actually the Arab quarter anymore. They say you don't want to get alone on these streets. I guess just last month there were a couple of Jewish rabbinical students stabbed to death up that stairway. Making sure it doesn't happen again. And if it does. Okay, they call this the Damascus Gate because it faces Damascus, major trading route. Now the Turks built on the Crusaders, and this gate takes a left and then a right and then another left and another right. So when they take a battering ram in there, they can't go out with full force and come through. They have to gather momentum again to get anywhere else. So they can't come straight. And those are to shoot arrows through, and they're built out this way so that anybody who's trying to batter here can be attacked with safety. Outside the walls. Oh, we see a lot of people living in there. The Damascus Gate. This is in the Garden of Gethsemane. And the guidebook says these olive trees go back 2,000 years. From the Garden of Gethsemane, you can see the old wall of Jerusalem. The Temple Mount is that.
It's right here. You can see it from this view.
Temple Mount, the golden dome there. So I'll see if I can get it closer.
It's where Abraham is said to have offered the sacrifice Isaac.
Ah, that's where Abraham was thought to have offered to sacrifice Isaac.
And Muhammad ascended.
And Muhammad ascended to heaven, according to the legend. The Garden of Gethsemane at the base of the Mount of Olives. You can notice the layer of walls from one period to another. And probably one of these lower ones was one of the ones that was there when Christ was here.
Well, at least in the position. I don't know. I think the actual wall would be right about where it is. Yes.
And this church was erected, probably in part of the Garden of Gethsemane. This is the Mount of Olives. From one of these spaces here, Jesus was supposed to have ascended into heaven. There's a mosque up there. I think that's the current ascension site. But this is the Mount of Olives. The Garden of Gethsemane at its base. And it directly across from the wall of City, same position, the wall of Jerusalem. This cemetery is along the wall here. When the second coming and the ascensions into heaven of all the saints. The people who are buried here are supposed to rise up. And a lot of people pay a lot of money in order to be buried on these sites so that they will raise up with these folks. To the Russian Church of Mary Magdalene.
Branches, the creation. During 7 days, the God created the universe. So, the lamp is the symbol of Israel God.
Been through a very intimate, difficult time in our lives. This is how we should be standing for the rest of our lives. We have come at a time of peace. Each one of us must give help to the other. If only we could learn, each one from a different country who speaks another language, for our constant lives to stand still, hold hands, and share our grief and our happiness together. Learn to live together in understanding and peace, that we can hope to build a future for our children and for our grandchildren. The word for the 21st century is one of peace and understanding. That's how we can build a new world. That is our new world. The world of the New Jerusalem, where Arab and Jew, Israeli and Muslim live together as one.
This is the Children's Museum. Unique, it was dark, a lot of candles burning, and all they did was repeat names of children who'd been killed and where they were from.
Okay, what's happened here and one here, they mentioned 1.5 million names of the children. Durante de un año está mencionado el nombre de los niños. Siempre, 24 horas.
A symbolic act of resistance and moral courage. One of the most moving descriptions of this death march was given by one of the survivors. As the ranks started up with an out-of-step clipper-clopper noise of the wooden shoes on the cobbles, the Colonel Korchak began a song, which the bigger boys at the head of the procession took up lustily. The procession had quite a long way to go, and the Colonel picked up a big-eyed girl who was having trouble keeping up and carried her in his arms. At one of the corners he was told that at the request of the Judenrat, he is personally excused from the deportation. "Oh no," Korchak said, "where my children go, I also go." He turned, not permitting an argument. "Come, children, ready, march." All witnesses agree that Korchak could have easily saved himself. An old friend offered him a place to hide as a Pole on the outskirts of Warsaw. The last of many offers was reported to have been made at the Umschlagplatz. Porchuk had firmly resolved never to abandon his helpless children.
Holocaust Museum. Very simple.
Uncle Bananas.
A switch. Broken bells. Deca. Start simple.
Gobierno de Holland, de Denia, de Suecia, de toda Europa, de toda la gente que salvaron gente para
Saved
acción
7,000 Jews out of
humanidad.
Denmark.
This is acts from Denmark and Sweden and Holland or all Europe, human being act.
Now the Holocaust Museum.
Todo puede ser, puede ver más si quiere. Si no, aquí directo, allá espera la tuya.
This is the town of Bethlehem. It's only about 8 kilometers from Jerusalem. This is Bethlehem, and this is the agreed upon site where the manger was located, and on this spot they have built the church. It's a really hilly country.
How are you, madam?
Really, if
No,
you
how
were
much
riding on the
You know how much?
back of a donkey, you'd probably feel it if you were 9 months pregnant. Down these rugged hills, a lot of rock. All of the doors are low so that you must bend your head to enter. Symbolic entrance to the church. Church built upon another church. This is a Byzantine mosaic. Floor underneath a new church on top of it, and this is very old. So everyone fairly well agrees that this was the old manger. This is the altar. And this is beneath the altar. Looks like they built the altar over the site of the old manger, preserved.
José de tribu de Judá, la casa del rey David, este razón vino aquí y otra vez le dijo, levántate y vete a Egipto, y llevó destino a matar. Después de 2 años regresó José, el niño que se dirige aquí, llegó hijo de Herodes, Arquelaos era más malo que su padre. Por esta razón pasó Jesús y José a Galilea.
People, right where those people are kneeling. just carried a body over there.